I'm going to start off with what is probably the best game of the weekend, and that is Thursday night when New Mexico goes to Moraga to take on St. Mary's. This New Mexico team is good. You have to remember, like this was a team that started 10-0 last year. This was a team that really hit its stride early a year ago, and two of the reasons why is this amazing backcourt of Jaelen House and Jamal Mashburn Jr. They were there a year ago. They both return, and they really tore St. Mary's up a year ago. This was House had 17 points on 5 and 11 from the floor. He had 6 steals. Mashburn with 12. He didn't play as well in that contest, but they came out with a win at St. Mary's. That was catching St. Mary's in the middle of a 3-game losing streak. They had just come off a loss to Washington, then lost to New Mexico, and then it was Houston. And you're probably going to know, like, that St. Mary's team remembers what happened in Moraga a year ago, knows that they did not play well, knows that they didn't shoot from the free throw well in that game a year ago. They were, is it 7? I just had the number here. Where did I put it? 17 for 27 from the free throw line in that contest. They lost this game by 4. So I think this is going to be one of the better games of the non-conference. This New Mexico team was picked to finish 3rd in the Mountain West behind Boise and San Diego State. And also, like, that's not the only piece that you have to kind of watch for with this New Mexico team. Yes, I talked about House. I talked about Mashburn, who I thought were both incredible last year. But also one of the guys from in that backcourt coming off the bench is going to be Donovan Dent. And while overall for the season he struggled with his shot, he did not struggle against St. Mary's. In that contest, he had 13 points, 6 rebounds. For the year, he was shooting 50% from the field with 2.5 assists. This is a young guy who's going to just get better and better. And so the backcourt defense of St. Mary's is critical in this contest. And this was a team last year who had Logan Johnson on this team and did not have the number of bodies it may have needed to really defend this team. Remember, St. Mary's has been a top 20 defense each of the last few years. And this New Mexico team was one of the better offenses a year ago, over 80 a game. And in that contest, and against St. Mary's, they shot 49% from the field. That was the 7th highest total against the Gaels a year ago. 3 of the others were Gonzaga, UConn. You can kind of guess who some of those better offensive teams were against St. Mary's. So there's going to be a lot to actually look at with this New Mexico team. Again, the backcourt I think about. So it's going to be imperative on Augustus Marshallonis. It's going to be imperative on Aiden Mahaney. You're probably going to need a little bit more from the bench as well on that front. So I think you're going to see a lot of pieces, especially in the backcourt, and two are going to have to play key roles defensively against this New Mexico team to get the job done. Now, I do think there's an opportunity where one of the spaces that we're going to see one of the bigger battles, one of maybe the better matchups, is going to be on the front line. That's going to be Mitchell Saxon against the new New Mexico center, Iona transfer Nelly Jr. Joseph. He comes in from Iona, the other Gaels on the East Coast, 6'10", 240. He was the MAC player of the year, 14 points, 10 rebounds. This is, I think, going to be a really good matchup between those two, who both are probably going to be vying for all conference honors in both of their leagues. And this is a replacement of Morris Udezi, who was their big man a year ago, the New Mexico big man a year ago. He had 13 and 5 against St. Mary's. So this is just going to be a fun matchup. My goal is to be there on Thursday night, so we'll see how that goes. But this is just going to be fun. This is going to be a great early test for St. Mary's. This is also going to be a great early test for New Mexico. It was a feather in the cap for New Mexico that almost got them in the NCAA tournament because they had beaten St. Mary's. And now I think we're not necessarily looking at this on the flip side, but there is a little bit of redemption on the St. Mary's side. There's a little bit of of now of because this is earlier on, maybe they're going to be sharper, maybe they're going to be more on top of their game. I don't think they were playing anywhere near their best when they saw New Mexico last year. It really felt like they kind of slept walked into that game and nearly won that game anyway. So with a more focused St. Mary's team, I do think this is a game where St. Mary's will pull out a close one. But this guard set, this New Mexico team is going to give this team a run. And with St. Mary's maybe being a little bit more on the offensively focused side this year than they have been in years past, I could see this game getting into the high 70s or into the 80s for both teams. I think this is just going to be a really, really fun game to see between New Mexico and St. Mary's Thursday night on if we're not getting there in person on ESPN Plus.